Let's do this.
Let's get this stone on the road.
Yeah, because
let's get this Rolling Stone.
Yeah, Rolling Stone.
Oh, that's much better.
Get this stone.
Yeah.
What? Couple was
How do you
a
feel?
Rolling
Like a Rolling Stone.
Hello, you are listening to Off Radar, It's a Movie Podcast. I'm James Smith, a professional film and video editor.
I'm James Eatock, a freelance writer and illustrator specialising in 1980s cartoons.
And I'm Neil Brock, aka Nige, the man with two names, former film journalist and currently working in the games industry.
Each week, one of us picks a movie that all three of us either haven't seen in many years or in some cases haven't seen at all.
We each watch the chosen movie, return to the microphone and let you all know exactly what we thought of it.
I'd never really had any interest in watching it and I was proved absolutely right.
I think it's amazing. I really, really love this film.
The film's still a pile of steaming dog shit.
If you fancy joining in and suggesting a movie for us to watch, why not tweet us at Off Radar Podcast
or email us on offradarpod@gmail.com.
If you like what you hear, please subscribe, share, and by all means, leave a review.
For now, strap in, turn the volume up, and let's go Off Radar.
Emma Stone.
Hello.
Doesn't talk with... Oh, sorry.
That's all right. Welcome back to Off Radar. I'm James Smith.
Thank you.
And I'm joined by, welcome back to you, James Eatock.
Hello. Thank you. Welcome back, Nige.
And welcome back, Nige.
Hello, I'm back. Where have we been?
We have been away on...
have we got a story for you, listeners?
About Emma Stone. Yeah, today we are talking about...
We better do, else this is going to be a very short podcast. So.
We're talking about Emma Stone. So if you've not listened to one of these, I actually jotted down the ones we've done before we've done it, because I always forget. So we've done a few of these sort of episodes where we kind of explore the life and career of Will Smith, Steven Spielberg, Johnny Depp, Michael J. Fox, Cameron Diaz, Leonardo DiCaprio, and Jim Carrey. So
bloody hell, we've done 7.
Quite a few. And yeah, go.
If you asked me at gunpoint, I would say 3, and then I'd be dead because I'd be shot. And also, why would you have murdered me for that?
Well,
but I would have failed the test.
That was gonna,
7.
Next time I'm gonna ask you for the next one we do. But yeah, Emma Stone is one I think we all kind of picked together when we were talking about Poor Things a few episodes ago, and we thought actually this would be an interesting one to dip into.
Tell you what, when I looked at her Wikipedia, I was like, got to look at her Wikipedia because I tend to avoid Wikipedia in that, like, especially when it comes to film reviews. But with this, I thought I always look at the filmography. So let me have a look at the filmography.
Refresh your memory.
Yeah, refresh your memory. I was like, my God, how many of her films I've seen? It's ridiculous. Like, just one.
Just one. And that's it.
The house bunny. That's it. That's all I've ever seen.
Oh wow, good.
I couldn't believe it though. Honestly, I remember like I went through this and I was just like, bloody hell! I've seen a lot of her movies.
Yeah, I didn't think I had, but again, like when you look at it, you do. One thing I wanted to just start off with. So, Emma Stone was born in 1988, and she's 35. At the time of recording this. The first entry on Wikipedia, which I'm just going to literally read out. So it just says, Emma Stone is an American actress and producer. Her accolades include 2 Academy Awards, 2 British Academy Film Awards, BAFTA, 2
BAFTAs,
Golden Globe Awards. And then it says, in 2017, she became the world's highest paid actress and named by Time magazine as one of the 100 most influential people in the world. And I was like, bloody hell, that kind of like straight away, just reading that before I looked at her films, I was like, man, what an incredible career. But it's funny when, like you say, the first film where we start off, like her breakthrough is one of her biggest films in like arguably, I guess. But yeah, her breakthrough was 2007 in Superbad, where she played, this kind of teen in a high school. I kind of forgot. Like, I remember her in it, but like it's one of those films where it obviously had breakthroughs for so many big actors, like obviously like Jonah Hill and
Jonah Hill. I remember.
But
I remember her in it because, like, she's a very captivating actress, and I don't mean looks wise. I mean just in her delivery of her accentuate. I love the way I'm bungling the phrase accentuating of words, but just she's got perfect elocution kind of thing. It's really like I just find her so kind of gripping on screen. And so in Superbad, I do remember her very prominently, and also she was like this very sweet character. Was she the one interested in
Jonah Hill?
Yeah, she's the one that's
character.
like, yeah, bring the booze, and Jonah Hill, yeah, just keeps fucking up basically. But
she's a little bit more like tomboyish, isn't she? I would
That's
say.
she's very
right,
confident,
yes,
but
yeah.
she's not like this classic clueless type teen, which you often
No,
get
not
in
at
those
all.
kind of high school things. But yeah, she's got this amazing, well, in Superbad, and obviously in every one of her films, but yeah, this screen presence.
Hey, Jules, your partner didn't come today?
It's kind of a personal question.
What?
Nothing. It's my attempt at humor. I was just...
Oh, like coming. Like coming.
Wow, this is a little too far right there. Good gesture.
It's pretty far. Shit, I do that.
No, don't worry. I'm actually used to it. My older brother says, like, the nastiest shit. Like, he called me Hyman until I was 12.
Oh, that's sick.
I know.
That's not even clever.
You know, I would have gone with something, you know, at least, like, mildly entertaining. You know, like Family Jewels.
Like nuts. Yeah, that's funny. That's a fucking funny joke.
It's charm. She has like such a great charm to her performances. I think that's the thing that I've always found. It's just, like I say, I've seen so many of her films, not because, it's an Emma Stone joint.
Yeah.
It's just, I'm watching this film and Emma Stone's in it. But it is that thing of, even when she's playing like certain characters that aren't meant to be likable, there's just an air of charm to her. You know, we recently obviously did Poor Things, but you can't help but kind of fall for that character. It's just like, because of her performance. And it, like, she goes from Superbad. It's funny, the films I've seen are the only ones I listed, but it's like Superbad. I saw The House Bunny. Don't remember much about
haven't
that.
seen that.
And then, like, you know, after that, you've got Zombieland. And it's
Yeah,
like,
again.
that was... God,
She had a hugely prominent role in it as
Yeah.
well, and it was a big hit at the time, like Jesse Eisenberg, is it? And
Eisenberg.
Eisenhower, that would be a different film.
Eisenhower, like Woody Harrelson as well. Like, and it was a big, very memorable, very sort of cultish film at the time, and again, kind of established herself as a different character. I mean, she'd done a tiny bit of TV before Superbad, but nothing that established it.
Felt like in
one of the things-
Zombieland, it almost became like she was becoming more of a strong character in that film.
Oh, she's a badass in Zombieland.
Yeah, because she has the gun, and she's much more of
Well,
a...
her and her sister of like surviving. They're like, we know all about how to survive all this. They're educating Jesse. Oh God, Nige, you've thrown me now. Jesse.
What's his name?
Eisenberg.
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 The guy from Social
Eisenhower.
Network, that guy, yeah.
Yeah, Jesse Eisenberg. It's just Nige just thrown me by saying Eisenhower. But like her and her sister are the ones that are like they're street smart in the world of zombies. Zombie smart. So they're educating like those around them.
And you can see that kind of almost that lead character kind of coming. I know she's not the lead in it, but you know, it's almost like coming to the surface when she gets to Zombieland, I think.
You need some help?
Now that you mention it. We'll take your weapons, your car keys, your ammunition.
And if you got it, sugar, let's go.
What the Well, you look at a lot of her early films, certainly that we've seen, where she's becoming more established. And you obviously mentioned Superbad, you mentioned Zombieland. There was also like Easy A, which she was essentially the lead of. Like Crazy Stupid Love, she had quite a big role in as well. Friends with Benefits, etc., etc. Even The Help as well, which
The
is
Help,
the first full-on, I
Yeah.
guess, like dramatic role rather than having that nudge, nudge, wink, wink bit of comedy. And she's always, as you said, comes across very confident. She's got a very deep voice that kind of gives her
Good
more
point.
gravitas.
I wrote that in my things about her. I said I wrote in big capital letters eyes and voice, because those are to me it's like you certain things leap from the screen. She's got these amazing eyes and this kind of this voice that's not squeaky. It's very low register, but not deep enough that you think, oh, this is kind of off-putting. it suits so many of her performances.
I love that. You said crazy stupid love there. Actually, I think that's a really. I don't know if you guys have seen the film, but I thought it was a really enjoyable.
Ryan
thing.
Gosling.
Obviously, this is the first
Goslinator,
time Emma Stone and Ryan Gosling team up. I think because obviously they go on to La La Land together. But and actually, they are she is the love interest for Ryan Gosling's character in that film, where Gosling is basically playing a complete and utter prick in the film from memory, and Steve Carell is almost being like kind of life coached by him, which is brilliant. Like, and Carell's playing a bit of that kind of, I don't know, that kind of same character again.
40-year-old virgin,
but not quite as comedy wise. But yeah, really good film. But her performance in that again, like she showing that almost like that kind of rom-com aspect to her range without going full La La Land yet anyway.
Take off your shirt.
Why?
Please, will you take off your shirt? Because I can't stop thinking. And then you just...
Okay.
All right, okay. Fuck! Seriously? It's like you're photoshopped.
I feel like she does a couple of Marvel, Sony films.
Yeah.
She does the two Spider-Man
the
movies.
Amazing Spider-Man,
with Andrew Garfield.
Who she was in a relationship with for like 5 years as well.
I forgot they were together.
I'd either forgotten or just
they
not
forgot to tell you.
Yeah,
they forgot to. I didn't get an invite to their relationship.
So that wasn't Marvel then. Amazing Spider-Man.
No. Well, I mean, it was because Sony owned the film rights to. That's why but in recent times it's become a Marvel Sony thing. But the sad thing about those films is they were kind of they're not part of the whole big expansive MCU, so she was never really a part of that world, which would have done, obviously it served a lot of people well in their careers. Robert Downey Jr., Chris Evans, Scarlett Johansson, but you could argue that, especially with Scarlett Johansson and RDJ, these are very established actors already, although Robert Downey Jr. sort of had like a renaissance with that. I don't think she ever needed to do those Spider-Man films or even any Marvel films.
One thing I would say, despite that, I would say that she's actually probably one of the best things in those films. Like,
they're not awful movies, but they're just
her
not
relationship
great.
with Andrew Garfield, which is obviously off screen as well, which kind of, but it helps. But I think there was a moment in the recent Spider-Man where there's a callback to like his moment with her, and I thought that was actually really nicely nicely done. But she plays almost like that, well, the Kirsten Dunst kind of role, doesn't she? But
she's Gwen Stacy.
Gwen Stacy.
I've never seen them. Never seen the
I don't think you really need to be honest. It's basically
you're not missing out on much.
Well, even the other day I was on a flight back and I was like looking at films to watch, and I watched Spider-Man 2, obviously the old one, the Sam Raimi one, just because I think exactly fairly recently, and it's like I don't need another Spider-Man in my. Like, I get the modern ones, like
I mean the first one feels exactly the same, to be honest, but yeah.
Yeah,
but
you know where I was going with the next film, like, because we've talked about on the podcast in, I think it was the best of the 2010s, I guess.
Yeah, it must have been,
something like that. It must have been, and I think we all gave a lot of praise.
I think somebody picked it in there. I think it was Nige.
Birdman?
Yeah, Birdman in their top 5 of the 2010s.
Yeah, quite possibly Nige. But yeah, Birdman, I think I've said before, her performance, I think I said it in the review, but she's great in it. I mean, everyone's great in that film. I think I said before, the only distracting thing I find about that film is the continuous shot, because sometimes you're looking for it. You're just like, where's the shot going to continue?
I still love it.
But at the same time, don't get me wrong, I understand why it works. And that film has, a wonderful performance by Keaton. Ed Norton's wondrously awful in it.
Oh, God, yeah. He's such a horrible character in it. Yeah, it's kind of coming back to me now, that film. But yeah.
But the her role in it is just, she's so great. She's Michael Keaton's daughter in it. Kind of, I wouldn't say a strange daughter, but they don't have a great relationship. But she gives this monologue at one point where she's talking about the internet, kind of like, and at that time, and especially now, it's even more relevant about, we're all trying to be relevant, but none of us really matter. It's a very kind of meta thing of people's relevancy in the world, and we're all trying to just be important. And she says, like, you know, you to her father, she goes, you don't have a Twitter, you don't have a Facebook.
Let's face it, Dad, you are not doing this for the sake of art. You are doing this because you want to feel relevant again. Well, guess what? There's an entire world out there where people fight to be relevant every single day, and you act like it doesn't exist. Things are happening in a place that you ignore. A place that, by the way, has already forgotten about you. I mean, who the fuck are you? You hate bloggers, you mock Twitter, you don't even have a Facebook page. You're the one who doesn't exist.
But her argument for relevancy is just one of those movie. There's a couple of movie moments over the last decade where I'm just like, holy shit, that was one of them, her monologue, and the other one was Margot Robbie's scene to camera in I, Tonya, which does the crying scene. It's just
mentioned it on the pod, but
it's such an amazing scene. But yeah, like I already liked her as an actress. Emma Stone, but when
it feels like Birdman, movie, she arrives in
it was just like,
she can really bloody act, and obviously she's acting alongside a kind of rejuvenated Michael Keaton, who, you know, he does like almost steal this film. But yeah, Emma Stone, she proves like again in this film what a strong actor that she is, that she can like steal scenes against some of the, you know, the biggest kind of actors of our time, you know, Ed Norton and Michael Keaton. But yeah, she's as memorable, if not more memorable, in this film. Yeah, I agree. I really enjoyed Birdman. I know we've kind of talked about this a little bit in the 2010 one. I agree with you. Like, there was part of me that was kind of looking for the cuts. That was my criticism. But at the same time, I loved the kind of that rawness of it, and the drum beat, and obviously Michael Keaton, like, you know, with the heartbacks to Batman and stuff like that. It was, you know, this was like Michael Keaton's second coming almost into this new actor that we've seen since. But
and then sadly, he did actually reprise the role of Batman in one of the lowest grossing superhero movies of all time. It looked atrocious.
Well, if we're going to talk about controversial subjects, let's jump into Emma Stone's Woody Allen period, where she made 2 films with him around that period. So Magic in the Moonlight.
I've not seen.
Have you not seen that?
No, I've not seen it.
A Rational Man. So that's 2014, 2015. Then she was replaced as Allen's latest muse by, I think, Kristen Stewart. And she spoke very highly of Woody Allen, and obviously there's a lot of controversy around that period. I think it's when the allegations were sort of resurfaced against him around 2014, of which he's remained quite silent about it. And again, it's one of these situations where I think a few people were tarnished by their working relationship. Some people have spoken out against Woody Allen and said they wish they'd never worked with him, etc. But she's always kept quite quiet on the subject. And to be honest, like, he's never been convicted of anything. It's very dodgy ground. We probably don't have all the information. Didn't
Scarlett Johansson start doing some films with him around this time as well?
Who has?
I was going to say.
I can't remember if she was in Match Point or one of the other ones. But she's certainly been in some films. But yeah, and also she was in The Interview, albeit as a cameo, and that was another controversial film around like North Korea and
so bizarre that film.
Only as a cameo. And then also, final bit of controversy was the fact she was cast in Aloha as like a half Hawaiian character, when obviously her background wasn't sort of close to Hawaiian at all. And I remember there being a bit of stink about that at the time, which was surprising for a largely forgettable kind of rom-com, I would say. So she did very well to kind of bounce back through La La Land, which we kind of mentioned. Birdman, she got nominated for an Oscar for that as Best Supporting. La La Land is kind of when she stepped up onto like the international stage, won an Oscar, and essentially was in a highly successful, huge movie.
There's nothing here. Well, let's make something clear. I think I'll be the one to make that call.
What's your call?
And though you looked so cute in your polyester suit,
it's wool.
You're right. I'd never fall for you at all. And maybe this.
Not to spoil a future review, but La La Land, I remember seeing the trailer for that and I'm thinking like, oh, I'm so into this. Like, this looks great. And I saw it at the cinema, and I just came away going,
Yeah,
I felt exactly the same. I was like, that was all right.
There's one, again, a moment of Emma Stone in that film is, I think it's like the last song, if not second to last song, where it's just the camera on her. And I remember that being like really good. But the rest of the film, even though I love I love so many things that Gosling's done, especially in recent times. I've always talked about the film The Nice Guys. If you want to see a great movie, we should do it for the podcast one day. The Nice Guys with Russell Crowe and Ryan Gosling. That's an in-person one as well. It's just such a fun movie.
Wasn't this one of your 2010s? I swear we've spoken about this as well.
Probably, almost definitely. But so I was really disappointed almost in myself that I didn't enjoy the film as much as those around me, because we came out of there as a group of us and they were like, oh my god, that was lovely, and oh, it was so wonderful, and I was just like, it kind of missed something for me. But I appreciate why others liked it, and I'm kind of glad she picked up her first kind of Oscar.
It was that Hollywood film, wasn't it? That big kind of almost like a big blockbuster for her in that space.
It was, but at the same time, it was kind of, don't get me wrong, it's like it was a bit of a risky film as well, because you're talking, essentially a bit of a throwback film, a musical.
Oh, definitely, like sort of West Side Story stuff. Yeah. Like how many musicals do particularly well? We saw how many musicals, of Cats and everything else.
Yeah, but also a musical coming out during the ascension of the bloody MCU, when superhero movies were dominating the cinema, and she does La La Land. Yeah. It's like, I managed to squeeze that in there. I actually did well.
I remember, when Moulin Rouge came out, it was almost like that. Like two big actors kind of like taking on a film like La La Land. I felt like it was going to be like of that kind of caliber, but then after that, a film I've not seen.
Since then, so just saying, she's basically done a film a year since about 2016. Obviously, we said she did a couple of cameos in like Aloha, in The Interview and Popstar Never Stop Believing. But since then, she's done a film every year, of which you were going to go on to one after La La.
Yeah, which I haven't seen, but I know Etox spoke very highly about before, Battle of the Sexes.
Yeah, it's good.
It's really good.
And again, it's based on a real life character.
Yeah, obviously Billie Jean King. I know the story well, but yeah.
Oh, Tennis Smith knows all about it.
Tennis Elbow Smith, he knows well about it. Yeah. No, it's a really, she's great in it.
And that, again, Steve Carell again, isn't it?
Yeah. Steve Carell. And it's one of those, it's one of those things, it's like,
how have you not seen that film?
I don't know.
That is surprising.
I'm not sure, actually.
You've watched Wimbledon, the film.
Yeah, but only because you made me.
Like twice, maybe.
I would never have watched.
Nige loved it. He gave it a 10.
Smith's double faulted on that.
Oh, God. I thought he'd used that before.
Yeah, let's hope so. But the what I love about Battle of the Sexes is look at, we all know Billie Jean King as you've seen interviews with her and everything, and old archive footage, and then you see Emma Stone cast as Billie Jean King.
Yeah, what? It shouldn't work.
Yeah.
But it does, because, again, it's one of those where you're watching the film and you forget that you're watching... And, it sounds so lame, because it's like that's the whole job. That's their job. That's what they're paid millions of dollars to do. But, Steve Carell's another actor we've talked about before, who's just like one of these chameleons who just goes effortlessly into a role, and you forget. I mentioned him on the podcast before, Philip Seymour Hoffman, someone who can't really change his physical appearance much, but my God, you can watch him in 7 films and you're just like, oh, that's the same actor, isn't it? Even though he looks the same.
Yeah.
He's in Boogie Nights going, I'm a fucking idiot.
Well,
but then he's in Mission Impossible going,
proven that as well,
definitely.
That was what I was going for. Like, Emma Stone is someone who, for the most part, in a lot of her films, kind of looks the same, but every performance...
Yeah, it feels like she could do, pretty much anything like that, kind of almost like that lovable girl next door role, and then go into a very strong lead character role, and then obviously...
I haven't seen it. She was the villain, she was Cruella,
Cruella in the Disney...
not so villainous, I would say. Like, she's she's like... Again, it's like the early story, like the formulation of who she was, and I think... Certainly, I've seen the first one.
Misunderstood, right?
Yeah. Well, I swear they were going to turn it into a bunch of films, but as far as I can tell, they've only done the one, and I would say you are definitely sympathetic to her character in that.
Oh, okay.
And then obviously she, like after this, she firstly teams up with Yorgos Lanthimos for The Favourite, which
I still ain't seen.
Have you not?
Another massively critically acclaimed film.
Well, she must have won. Did she win? I know it won a lot of Oscars. I'm not sure if she did for that one, but this
again, she was nominated for Best Supporting, so similar to what she was for Birdman. Yeah, she won for Poor Things. She won for La La Land. She's got 2 Oscars for goodness sakes.
And so The Favourite was... it's weird. I didn't really get on with it, but yeah, it was just so bloody weird and out there. But maybe I need to watch that again after seeing Poor Things. Obviously, we've done Poor Things on the podcast, but like one of the things that we did say in the review of that was how astonishing her performance was. Because like we say, she's going from like a role like La La Land, where it's a very Hollywood, it's like that kind of role. Then she's like a lead kind of strong character in something like, I don't know, Zombieland. But then you've got Poor Things, where it's like just so out there and like shoved way out of her comfort zone into surrealism.
I guarantee, absolutely. I guarantee that she would have been offered so many scripts, but I guarantee that she's turned down so many opportunities where her agent or herself has gone, I could do this film and make millions of dollars and it'd be an easy paycheck, or I could do something challenging like Poor Things.
Yeah.
And I think that's what I really love about
the fact that she's taken on after Poor Things, after winning an Oscar, another one of his films, Kinds of Kindness, which only came out like a month ago.
This year.
I haven't seen it. No, that's the thing. It's that thing of so many actors, and I completely understand why. Imagine like you get your breakthrough. Let's say La La Land. James Smith is in La La Land. What a performance, James Smith! You did great, Smith. By the way. But then
his Twinkle Toes on show.
He was so good. I didn't like the fact that to shave his back. Though. That disappointed me. He did the top.
They wanted to see
but then, Smith, you go to your agent, and your agent goes to you, right? We've got an option here. You can make like 20 million, and you'll be in a Marvel movie, or you can do this independent movie. And I feel that she always
I'd take the Marvel. I'll take the money.
Mostly
if that's what you're offering me, I'll take it.
I want the box. I want the box.
She makes the right decisions in terms of, thus far from what we've seen. When you look back, you're looking at Superbad, which is 2007, you said, right?
Yes.
So we're not even 20 years removed from that, and you look at everything she's done in between, everything, and certain things maybe could have derailed, like
Aloha,
and maybe Spider-Man,
like Gangster Squad. Gangster Squad, she's just like, she's just a random character in an ensemble. Like,
that's
little
what I mean.
things where
you could fall into these traps, and it must be incredibly hard to be an actor or actress trying to navigate the minefield of Hollywood.
But then we don't often talk about it as part of this pod, because obviously we're very much like a film focused podcast, but she also took a couple of risks by doing some sort of TV shows, some like short series runs. She did Maniac with Jonah Hill I think in 2018, and then she recently did The Curse, which is like a Nathan Fielder TV show. Nathan Fielder is really well known for kind of doing almost like documentary style, and I can't really do it justice in words, but it's very, very unusual, and it's definitely more along the lines of kind of Poor Things than it would be just your bog standard TV show. And I think she is someone who, how can I say this without sounding crass? She's someone that's got enough money that she can just do whatever the hell she wants.
The crazy thing is she's only 34, right? 35, and it feels like her career's been, so like she's basically done what every kind of actor or actress would like to do over their career.
Oh, of course.
But I guess like one thing that, and really I should sort of say this straight up, that like we don't often talk about this with actors or actresses really, but one thing that kind of rubs me up slightly the wrong way is that she came from an extraordinarily privileged background, much like say Taylor Swift. Like, her father was like a CEO of like a major company. They had like not just millions but hundreds of millions in their household, and we've kind of seen the degradation, I suppose, of working class actors and people having opportunities. Like, she had the opportunity to just keep going to auditions, to kind of, it wasn't like, I need to get a day job to keep me going. She had that luxury, and she actually auditioned for the TV show Heroes. I don't know how many of you remember that. But her role, the one she went to Hayden Paternet or however you pronounce her name, who ended up like married to one of the Klitschko brothers, and there was like a size difference of about 2 foot between them. But anyway, and she said when she didn't get that role, that was her like hitting rock bottom. But her rock bottom is still having this like cushion of hundreds of millions, like of her family's money to fall back on.
In defence of her, I'm in a court of law at the moment, presenting my argument for instance.
Objection!
Objection, Your Honour. No, I totally understand where you're coming from, Nige. It must be nice to be in that position where you can just do whatever you want. No, you don't have to worry.
Yeah, you're
too
not
much.
a struggling actor in a waiting like most of the others, basically.
But in
is what
defence
you're
of
saying.
Stone, because what she does is, I think, incredibly competitive. You still have to be able to do
There's
it.
talent.
And I don't.
I mean, I know you're not taking that away from her, but
No.
you can have, and we've seen it numerous times with vanity projects. That if you go on YouTube, you can find these god awful, vanity projects, and they're hilariously bad. Where it's like, I'm an actor now because I've got like millions, or my parents are supporting me. Here's my film. And
it gives you opportunity that maybe you wouldn't get.
Yes, and that's what Nigel's talking about. That's Nigel's essence. He's talking about
privilege and opportunity.
Totally,
However, there's nothing to take away from what she's achieved because of the talent that she's got. And I guess you could say if she didn't have that talent and she was like in a space where she was, just like acting in nothingless films, you'd be like, well, you're literally like, there's so many other actresses that are probably better than you. But in her case, there is not. So if she had money or not, I would say that, maybe that is slightly irrelevant for her career because, she deserves it.
You're right. Yeah, she's put herself there. I mean, look at Jamie Lee Curtis. Like, her dad was Tony Curtis. Her mum was Janet Leigh. And, like, we recognise, our generation recognised Jamie Lee Curtis as just being amazing. Jamie Lee
don't
Curtis.
even think.
I'm not trying to take anything away from Emma Stone.
No, of course.
She has had that privilege. Like, she convinced her parents at 15 that she should be allowed to move to Hollywood to have a go at being an actress via a PowerPoint presentation. I can't imagine Demi Moore, who like grew up in a trailer park, having that kind of opportunity herself. Like, everyone comes from different backgrounds. I guess there's this basically, this is my mini rant about saying privilege.
No, it's a really good point though.
That kind of
absolutely.
Thing. But like, she has established herself as a fantastic actress, and credit should be given to her for her selection of roles, her performances. Like, she's very rarely in a dud, and even if it is a dud, she's pretty good in it. I mean, even like, she kind of, the only time she's kind of gone back on something is the fact they did like Zombieland 2, which frankly isn't very good. It was a bit of a disappointment.
I've never seen it.
But again, like, everyone was calling for her to do it. They wanted the gang back together. They gave it a shot, and it was what it was. But yeah, she barely makes a misstep. Even Aloha, as I said, could have been controversial. Working with Woody Allen, could have blacklisted her with certain people. It hasn't. She's gone from strength to strength. Like, where's she going to go next?
That'll be interesting, right? Because she's gone down she's gone down this surrealism thing in the last, well, you said The Curse is a bit like that. So yeah, Poor Things, Kind of Kindness.
Well, Maniac as well.
Oh, really? Is Maniac? I've not seen that.
Yeah, definitely.
But yeah, I'm surprised that, I don't know if she's had these offers or not. Like, someone like, I don't know, Scorsese, or like, she's not like dipped her toe into this kind of, not like polished Hollywood, but like a massive,
a Tarantino, a Scorsese,
like Nolan, like like Spielberg, like all of these like huge names. Like, why has she not been in one of those films?
That's a really good point. I never thought about it, but she hasn't done, and like, she's done fine without them, but she hasn't done one of those films where it's like directed by, and it's just like starring, and you're like, oh man, Emma Stone's in a Tarantino movie. I mean, like,
this may sound a little bit harsh, but of those directors you've said, how many of them have directed films with like strong lead female roles?
Well, I would say, I don't know if you saw the Scorsese one last year, Killers of the
Tarantino with Foxy Brown.
Well, yeah, like Kill Bill as well, to be fair. But sorry, go on to me.
No, Scorsese very rarely does.
He did with Killers of the Flower Moon with the
you did see
Lily
that,
Gladstone, who I can't remember if she won the Oscar or Best Supporting or was nominated, but yeah, she is incredible in that film. And yeah, it's surprising. I mean, you're right with Scorsese, it is always very men heavy, but
as a director,
Spielberg as well. I would say. Like, it's always like someone's mother. It's not necessarily like the lead. I'm sure there's examples on like Colour Purple. You could go back and say, but it's very rare.
But you think, as a director, like you're always looking for films to make, right? And if you're Tarantino and you've got this back catalogue, Tarantino's a bad example because he has, as we've said, done strong female leads. But regardless, you're a director and you're looking at, and you just think, oh, I'd love to have. Surely you'd watch a film with her and just go, I'd love to have her star in a movie. Why would you not? And it's just like, it's so surprising that some of the directors we've named have not chosen to do that. But then that might be because they're just not that way inclined to make those kind of movies featuring those kind of characters. I'm not saying like, oh, they don't like women, they don't like strong women. It's like,
it's just an observation, I guess. Yeah, she's not appeared.
It's a really good point. It's like, it's always, directed by who?
Yeah.
Well, now she's at the sort of point of her career where she's becoming a producer in a lot of her films.
Yeah, that's when you know, like, that's when you know someone's doing okay. When, like, Margot Robbie, I think, has her own production company as well. It's like, when you start producing your own films, you're doing okay.
Yeah, and she started, like, going back to, she's clearly extraordinarily talented as an actress, an actor, actress, however you want to phrase it. She also did a lot of the kind of like singing for La La Land as well. So she's clearly like, she's someone you could take along to karaoke and you'd be like, oh, I wish they'd come. They make us all.
God, imagine if like if we ever do karaoke again. It's nearly been 10 years since we last all did it.
Get Emma Stone down. Ryan Gosling.
Get Emma. Imagine Emma, I'll be like, guys, Emma Stone's coming. Like, Emma Stone just walks in, starts belting out some classics.
Yeah.
And then you find out she's really tight. She's like, oh guys, can you cover my costs because I forgot to bring my wallet? And we're like, what? What do you mean?
She'll be in fucking La La Land if she's saying that to us.
And Nigel be sitting there going, you're so privileged, but he'll be singing at the same time. You're so privileged. Like, yeah, you take that, Emma Stone.
So yeah, with these, obviously, I asked you guys, like, what is your favourite film that she's been in, and also what you think her best performance is. Nige, what do you think with Emma Stone? I need to think about this myself.
So what, Nige?
I've got a massive soft spot for Superbad and Zombieland as well. I think they're both like brilliant, really enjoyable films. But there's a lot of her films I like. There's a lot of that are easy to watch. You could just put on. We touched upon like Crazy Stupid Love, easy to watch. Easy A, I remember watching that. Easy to watch. Obviously, in more recent times, she's done films a little bit more out there. We were all big fans, I would say, of Poor Things. So go back and listen to the pod for that, for a really interesting discussion about that. But for me, pipping all the rest of the post, like Birdman, it's just, in terms of a film, is looking at her kind of resume, whatever you want to call it, that is, out of all those films, the best one on that list. And she's a big part of that reason as well. But I wouldn't necessarily say it's her best performance, but we can come on to that.
Well, do it right now. Go for it.
It's Poor Things.
Yeah.
It is. It's unreal how good she is in that film. And as she's good in other films, like Battle of the Sexes. She really takes on that character that you really couldn't expect her to be able to do. But Poor Things is an exceptional. It's like a masterclass in a way, I would say, for her to be willing to put herself out there. And I think it was like 6 months after she'd like just given birth, and she came back and she did that. It's just absolutely incredible.
That is incredible. I think I'll just pick up where you left off, I think, there. And maybe we'll all probably agree on this. Yeah, performance-wise, like I think undoubtedly Poor Things is probably her best performance. And, it's like one of those best female performances for me that I've seen in a very long time. I think she's so good in that film. Favourite film is tricky. Like there's plenty of those films that I've really enjoyed. Superbad. I enjoyed Zombieland a lot more than I thought I was going to. I didn't think I'd enjoy that, and I thought it was good.
It's great.
Yeah,
if you've not seen it, go on. Check it
Crazy
out.
Stupid Love. I really enjoyed it, and again, surprisingly so. The Amazing Spider-Man was not great. She was good in it. La La Land, I didn't get on with that well. Favourite, I didn't get on with that well. But again, it's never really down to her. So, a favourite film is between Birdman and Poor Things. I think it sounds a bit weird, but yeah, I'll probably go for Poor Things. I feel like I probably prefer that film to Birdman. But
wow, okay, El Taco.
I mean,
we're all saying the same kind of films here, aren't we?
We're all saying the same thing. But like going through a list again, like I said, I was so shocked when I looked at the Wikipedia for her filmography and just thought, how have I seen this many of her films? And I guess it just shows you that she she rarely wastes roles, and you know, at least from what
she loves bread though.
She loves bread.
She loves
Nice.
she loves spaghetti, not rolls.
I was like, what? I went. My brain went to the TV series from the 1980s. I was like, babe, the TV series that was always on a Sunday. Yeah, that's Smith. This is where you insert the theme song.
I mean, yeah.
Classic.
Gotta get up.
Gotta get out. Grab the world by the throat and shout. Gotta find it, get us a shell. Making bread out of nothing but air.
Oh, just making me hungry. But yeah, her filmography is incredible. She's like, I think one of the best, surely generational actresses. I think like I've said, when I think of like the last couple of decades in my favorite actress, she's just always there. And I look, like I said, I go through a filmography. It's like, yeah, she's pretty prominent in all those scene-stealing performances. But yeah, I think there's a reason, spoiler, I gave Poor Things a 10, because I thought it was an incredible film, and she is an intricate part of that film being incredible. For all of its parts, you know, Mark Ruffalo's incredible, the director, everybody involved. It's an incredible movie. But yeah, my favourite film, Poor Things, of hers, and favourite performance is Poor Things, with Birdman being a very close second, I think.
Yeah.
I'm really keen to go back and watch Paperman, which is also known as like Unlikely Hero, which was released in 2009. The cast is Jeff Daniels, Ryan Reynolds, Emma Stone, Kieran Culkin, and Lisa Kudrow in it. And it's an independent comedy drama about a writer who relies on a childhood imaginary friend to help him make life decisions. And Ryan Reynolds plays the imaginary Captain Excellent. So it just sounds very interesting, although it did very bad.
It sounds like a cheese
that's
stream.
definitely one I'm going to go check out. Well, yeah, maybe.
Trivia, Emma Stone trivia. Shall I read out my one bit, which you might have already...
You go for it, mate.
Go, girl.
Go, Zigga Zigga.
So Emma Stone, her real name is actually Emily.
Fred.
And when applying to the acting guild, she couldn't put Emma Stone down because there was already an Emma Stone there. So she went for Riley. Didn't get on with Riley, so she chose to change it to Emma Stone because of Emma Bunton of the Spice Girls. And that's why she chose her name to Emma Stone.
Yeah, she's a Spice Girls super fan, and when she met them in real life, she went absolutely ballistic.
So there you go.
I believe she met him on like a chat show in like the green room or something like that. I vaguely remember talking to Graham Norton about it.
Oh, really? There you go.
So there you go.
Nige, over to you.
Well, I mentioned like her slightly privileged background, but it didn't mean she had things easy in life, because when she was 7, she fell off the parallel bars in gymnastic and broke both of her arms. And since then, she's had like a phobia against like being lifted in the air. And I don't know if you remember that well from the film we were just discussing in terms of the old Ryan Gosling and Steve Carell film, Crazy Stupid Love. They like recreate the Dirty Dancing.
Oh, yeah.
And she was like really scared of doing that at the time.
Oh, bless her.
And while she's like, I think Etok, you mentioned the fact she's got very striking eyes and hair, she's not actually a natural redhead. She's actually a blonde, and it was only when Judd Apatow suggested she changed it for Superbad that she kind of fell in love with it, and she decided to keep it. So there you go. She's always had it like that since. And then another thing, going back to her childhood, we mentioned her low-pitched husky voice. As a result of having baby colic, a condition of chronic crying as an infant.
Wow.
It lasted 6 months, resulted in development of nodules, and she has calluses on her vocal cords. So Etok knows. He's done the surgery, he's checked it out.
No, my friend Lee in America has the same thing. He's got nose on his thing. I can't remember, like in his throat. So he has a kind of a deeper register voice, and he can never like. When he talks, he finds it very difficult to raise his voice and then lower down.
Imagine being the parent of a crying baby for 6 months of crying.
I'm sure they had a nanny. It was fine.
Yeah, bear in mind what Nigel's just told us about the history. Yeah. They're like this. We'll just put the baby behind his stacks of money.
Was Meryl Streep?
No,
that's not true.
No,
it probably is. Yeah.
We like talking about roles and like what ifs and where Robin Williams fits into everyone's lives.
Oh, God.
But she was originally actually cast as Amber in the film Sucker Punch, which
Oh, thank God she avoided that.
Well, yeah, she had to drop out due to scheduling conflicts.
I saw that at the cinema. That was like one of. I remember the trailer and thinking like, "Oh, this is Zack Snyder. This isn't a gimmick director. This guy knows what he's doing." And I watched that movie and I was like, "That might be the biggest pile of shit I've ever seen." And then I went to see Batman versus Superman. I thought, this beats that.
Fine.
Zack Snyder on a downward spiral of shitty film production.
The role went to Jamie Chung. There was one film she did miss out on a role for because it clashed with La La Land. She didn't get to do Baby Driver, the Edgar Wright film.
I know you like it. I'd argue good job again. But I know you like it, Nige. I know you like it.
Yeah, but that went to Lily James, and obviously she didn't get to work with Kevin Spacey, which I imagine was a big loss for her.
There you go, even bigger reason not to do that film.
And then, sorry, go on.
I was going to say, I've got a question. One of you may have read it in research or whatever. She strikes me as someone that, I don't know this for a fact, it's almost like she has a lisp, but she has trained not to have a lisp.
Yeah.
She's definitely got a lisp, right? Well, or there's the elements of it.
I think in Superbad, like it's more like prevalent, and you can go, oh, is she putting this lisp on? Like I thought she was putting it on because in other films it feels like it's gone.
There's like a TikTok. Emma Stone has a lisp and stuff like that, but. Yeah, I don't know.
Bloody TikTok
is probably debating it much like you are. It's not something I've ever noticed, and it's not something I can find.
I've clocked it a few times.
Yeah, I clocked it in Superbad, but yeah, who knows? Maybe it's something to do with
regardless.
It
hasn't affected her career.
No, absolutely is not. And then last bit of trivia for you. Even though she played Gwen Stacy in the Amazing Spider-Man franchise. This may disappoint you talk to hear. She's never actually read any of the comics.
Oh, right. Yeah.
Why would she? She's Emma Stone.
And she's never even read a copy of Serial Geek magazine. So what a
Emma Stone! You've just broken my heart.
I know. So there you go, Emma
Stone. Done.
Maybe change that.
I think one last thing I want to say on Emma Stone before we kind of look to wrap up is I would say a lot of the kind of people we've discussed in these podcasts have kind of been almost... I wouldn't say at the end of their careers. They're probably over like the midpoint and potentially on the way down. Emma Stone, I wouldn't say she's on the way up, but she's certainly almost at the height of her powers, and it would be very interesting to see where she goes.
Definitely.
That's the thing, because you think
now she's featured on our
podcast going back to her nanny Meryl Streep, you think how long Meryl Streep's career has been. Meryl Streep's had this career that has lasted decades upon decades. When you see actors and actresses that have had a career since before, in terms of maybe like I was born in 1977, and you find out an actor's been acting since before then, you're like, wow, they've been acting all my life. You think for her, how many years in the tank does she have of acting? At what point, and like you say, because she's getting into producing now, but she is well into producing, at what point does she go, yeah, I'm just going to take a step back now? Obviously, she's a mum as well,
think
so she might
it's also a point that Nige might have made in the Cameron Diaz one is the roles that women get offered as they get older get more limited, so they become like...
Agreed. Absolutely.
Obviously, she's had such a diverse career, which is obviously only a good thing, but... Yeah, when you look at maybe where she goes from here, like obviously she could go on to anything, but unfortunately with Hollywood, it all depends on how she ages as well and how she looks. Like when we look at, what was it, Top Gun Maverick, and they got rid of Kelly, what's her face? Because when you actually look at her, she looks like just a regular older lady.
She looks like a normal human.
It looks like someone aged her.
But basically Hollywood and films are fickle. But maybe if she sets up her own production company and has, like the ilk of Emerald, what's her face, and Margot Robbie, then maybe she doesn't need it. Maybe she's got enough money to kind of do her own thing. So hopefully she'll like continue.
She's got more money than God. I'm just such a fan of. It's really weird when you lock at, we're film buffs, we're big buffs, we're buff film buffs, buff daddies, and it's just buff daddies.
Buff Diddy,
buff daddies, buff Diddy,
buff Diddy die. What's that film for? Yeah.
No, you just think, there are some actors and actually you watch a film, you go, oh, I like this person in that film. With Emma Stone, to me, she's just always prevalent when I think of movies. Just saying, oh, she's like just really fucking good at her job, you know. And it's I'm really happy that I exist in a time where she is a screen presence.
Well, yeah, and almost looping
like,
back to what I said right at the beginning when it said, you know, on Wikipedia she was the world's highest paid actress. That kind of surprised me a bit because she doesn't seem like that kind of actress because she, you know, she's done. But yeah, the fact that in 2017 she was, I guess that was right after La La Land. To be fair,
she reminds me a bit more. She's more, and again, I may be characterising her incorrectly here, but it feels like there's more of that like Katharine Hepburn, Audrey Hepburn, Ingrid Bergman, whatever you want to say about her.
A classical,
and like you kind of touched upon the fact that a lot of actresses in this modern age have kind of gone down that production route, like Reese Witherspoon's a prime example where she created her own like studio practically to kind of make sure that there's roles not only for women but also for herself and things that she's interested in, and it is a rarity. There are some that are exceptions to the rule. Meryl Streep got a lot of her best roles from 40-50 onwards. Olivia Colman has kind of come from nowhere, and
Olivia Colman's a brilliant example because she's not like a classic looking actress in that sense.
No.
She's aged.
Did you ever? I mean, did you ever see her in Green Wing?
Yeah,
obviously, she was in Green Wing. Then she was in. I think she was in Green Wing. Then she was in Peep Show, or Peep Show then Green Wing. And in Green Wing, she was just cast as like this overweight kind of single mum that worked in a hospital as a receptionist. That was her role. She had like a bigger role, obviously, in Peep Show. But to go on to where she's
getting bigger and bigger roles, and that's a great example. But
she also loves bread.
She loves bread.
Oh, for fuck's sake. But now Nigel's talking about the TV set.
No, I thought
insert the theme song again. Gotta get up, gotta get up.
And guys, where do you sit? I think this is a good place to wrap this episode up into a wrap.
God.
A little toasted sandwich. Get in touch, email us on offradarpod@gmail.com, tweet us at offradarpodcast. Let us know what you think about Emma Stone's films, or give us another actor or actress or director or writer or one of the above that we've heard of, hopefully.
Smith, you know when you used to buy Harris, what was that place around the corner from Cheerful? Was it Harris, wasn't it? Harris? What was the sandwich you always used to get?
Chicken
Was it like
mushroom one? And
that
cheese.
was it.
What's like?
No, I was trying to remember the other day. I had a sandwich and I was like, "What was that place they used to go
Harris,
to?"
Like
Harris.
Fairless used to go there every day, pretty much. Do you fancy sending us a film to review, or letting us know your thoughts on a film that we have discussed? All of your comments will be read out in our end of season leaderboard episode. Email us on offradarpod@gmail.com. Tweet us at offradarpodcast. Message us on Facebook. All links and info in the description down below.
Do it! Do it!